She is an empress, about to begin. Giving love to all the ancestors that's tuning in. Here comes the two tears with some more going out to the all men. Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know we the holy is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the all men. Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know we the holy is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the old. Super like an eagle, more like a stinging bee. Ancestors is right in front of me. I'm more that big dynasty live inside me. Moon goddess is worth, she worth me to make a greatness. Wow, natural style, rain dance out under the moon, knock through the pearly gates. Escape from Spain to Panama, we still ahead of y'all. Never racing, just slow pacing to the top of the dome. We stand tall, y'all. Never lazy, so walk, clap, 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 clap. All the mom talking shit, not stop. A little petite, but never retreat. 10K is doggone tall, y'all. Chopper riding, we awake, very deep streaming. ET beaming, blood chop, lightsaber walker, wolf talker, never stop. All men, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the holiest OG. Coming to restore the crown of the all men. Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the holiest OG. Coming to restore the crown of the tomahawk chop. An entire city block, big buffalo people coming back to wreck shop. Hip hop, I'm out and pop, can't stop the rebirth of raw. Indigenous rock with the native chant, Christ war dance, at a glance. Anyone who glance at the Shechem war dance, King of Seven Feather Owl, the Moorish colon pow. Make all these 14th Amendment rappers throw in the towel. Square, compass, and tribal. These masons taking oaths, disrespecting ancestors, selling their souls to ghosts. Raise my glass, make a toast to Aboriginal hosts, traveling through the cosmos. That's both, meaning that's on top. My wounded knee bandaged up, Black Hawk, what's up? Geronimo skull. We taking it back from the tomb of the bones when we coming in the rooms and in tune like all men. Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know Islam, and greetings, more. Welcome back to another episode of Partner the Interjection. I'm your host, Supreme L. It's been a good little minute, but we're back. And we're back for the family and by the family. And it's a beautiful time to be alive, Moors. We got a special show today. We got a special guest. And it's always a pleasure and honor to have this brother on. We're going to get him on really quickly, but here on Partner Interjection, we dig up information to divulge to the people in the upliftment of fallen humanity. And yes, humanity has fallen hard. And we're here to get it right and set the record straight on getting it back right, because our people are waking up in droves. So, with no further ado, I'll get the good brother on the line here. And a few shakes. Peace, more peace, family. On the phone, we have the good, distinguished brother, your brother, my brother, Aseer, the Duke of Tears. Peace, more. You there? Peace. How you doing, brother? How you doing?
I'm all right, brother. How are you?
Islam, good. I'm blissful, more. It's a beautiful time to be alive. I tell you that.
Inshallah.
Yeah. First, I want to thank you for coming back on the show. You know, it's always a blessing to have you on, brother.
Thank you, G. I appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Islam to the listeners as well.
Indeed. And I hear something that happened. I just want to thank the Most High that you still here with us, brother.
Inshallah. You know how it is. We're there at the time.
There you go. Indeed. Well, hey, to take it on in and to do the thing, I got a couple questions. You know how we do it on Partner Interjection, baby.
Indeed.
Okay. First and foremost, I want to, thank the Most High and Allah for sending His Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and to go in with the question,
this presidential alert. Everybody had a presidential alert or was talking about this presidential alert. Can you expound on that, or what do you know about that?
That's a part of a program that was actually implemented. Actually, it was implemented under Obama, but they didn't really do it. Actually, it might even be going back earlier to that, because like internationally, like here in the States, 911 is the number, but outside of the States, 211 is, outside of America, 211 is like the universal emergency number.
Right.
So that to me though was more about him, i.e. Trump, striving to establish a direct means of communication with the people, more so than letting them know what the emergency was. Because really, what they're doing, or what he's trying to do, is circumvent mainstream media news outlets. So what he's trying to do is create a bypass system where people get direct information, allegedly, about what's happening in government or politics or whatever from him.
Oh.
You understand?
Right.
So this is kind of like a Big Brother thing. Because also, right, the day after that, they asked for everybody. He hit up Facebook and asked Facebook to give up everybody's personal information to them. Now, Facebook been doing this.
Right.
All social media platforms are set up for data mining purposes and are based basically to get people to dry snitch on themselves.
Right.
So anything and everything that's posted on these sites, these media, whatever, is all about you informing on yourself. Right. So everybody is their own informant now. Right. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when we was coming prior to 2000, they was talking about putting cameras in every building and everything, like there was a big outcry against that.
Right.
But like all things, they wore people down, and at the same time created the predictive programming with movies like Bait with Jamie Foxx,
right.
movies like Enemy of the State with Will Smith, movies like Manchurian Candidate with Denzel Washington, movies like any of those movies where they went through that whole phase of like deep state, NSA call streaming, listening to your calls, that whole wave. Right. So they automatically got people down with that. But once they found a way to mix the need for surveillance with people's narcissistic and vanity-based appetites, they was able to rock. So now they don't gotta have spies and shit like that. All they need is to know where you was, to figure out who you didn't like or whatever. They just go and do an analytics algorithm based upon your page. Right. And then now, like I told people years ago, they've been cloning pages and have been building up all of the algorithm data on you to the point where they literally created a cloned version of you. Right. A digital clone. But all digital clones are basically can be converted through biometrics into what they call LMDs, which are life model decoys, okay. Which are what they call half-life entities, HLEs. So all of that, to put it in a nutshell, the goal was to show us aspect of power by being able to tap everybody's phone like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. But don't think that now that emergency is done, that now the channel isn't open for them to listen in on everything basically that you do. Right. But if you ain't doing nothing, then you ain't gotta worry about nothing. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's true. You know what I'm saying? Also, if you doing what you're supposed to do in terms of, your people, your nationality, culture, whatever, nobody can frame you into being anything. Right. The only way a frame works is if they got somebody to validate the picture. So the only way they can make you look like something is if they got somebody to co-sign that. Mm-hmm. And if your circle is tight, then you ain't got to worry about that.
Right, you ain't got to worry about that at all.
But yeah, that whole thing was really about doing that. That also broke a bunch of violations. That was also like a violation of like the First Amendment, the Third Amendment, the Fourth secure in their homes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you're not supposed to just be receiving shit like that. Because I can guarantee you, if I try to text that nigga, he wouldn't let me, he wouldn't be taking my text like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and he's a public servant, and all these niggas supposed to be working for the people.
That's
but
right.
the people, like with the Kavanaugh thing that just happened,
Right.
you know, the white, in the end, as much as white people and white women hate the society, they love it, and they will vote to keep a racist in power quicker than they will to get one out.
Right.
How you doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Kavanaugh, they already saying how he was basically a glorified frat boy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the rest of these, what they call degenerate reprobates. He was in there, you know, just like Jim Belushi in Animal House.
Right.
You know, going to the keggers, you know, GHB and shorties, you know what I'm saying? Groping women, you know what I mean? Flunking out of class, passing, getting people to do his papers. He doing what they all do. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, their whole society is based on that.
Right.
That's what they do. Like, it's not a game. It's not a deal breaker for one of them to be charged with rape. You understand?
Right.
But it's a deal breaker for us.
That's right.
You dig? So Weinstein can rape and eat women, but Cosby's going to jail. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
And what I'm saying is that Caucasian people, black people, are the ones pumping this shit. You don't see Asian people pumping this type of shit.
Not at all.
You don't see, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see no other nationalities really getting involved in any dumb stuff like this.
Right.
First of all the chicks that came out against this dude was basically men. They was all transsexual.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
One of them transsexuals, he even put it through college. That's the other thing. This nigga put mad people through college, man. Now, again, I'm not an advocate for Bill Cosby, but I came up in the 80s. I remember when the Cosby Show was on. Nobody was on this. It was in the hood. Everybody's upstairs on Thursday at 8 o'clock watching that.
Right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
right. That's right.
Same thing with Different World. You know what I mean? Like, that shaped the idea that we actually could have something, because the generation before that only had good times.
Right.
And the
That's
generation before that didn't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so in that, you know what I mean? Just not to say that he didn't do what he do, but like Richard Pryor said, you cannot be dealing with them Jews with no money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So you can't be talking about you want to buy NBC, Cosby. You can't be talking about you own half of Sony, Michael. You can't be talking about you basically are going to take all the publishing away from Warner Brothers Prince. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you hooked up with these people, man.
Right.
As great as these people were, these original men, Asiatic men were or weren't, they still signed up with this devil, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, in the end, you still sign up with him. You still agreeing to wear aprons and shit. You know, excuse my language. You still to sign wear aprons and all of that.
Right.
And then still talking about, oh, how you this and that. Like, for people that don't know, Freemasonry is a religion, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the same way you can't be a Christian and a Muslim at the same time, the same way you can't be a Freemason and whatever other religion at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you cannot serve two masters.
Right. Right.
That's how deep the devil is. I done had Moors, real Moors, come to me and try to defend why it's okay for them to wear aprons, why it's okay for them to do this and that. Now, this is what I'm talking about is Freemason. I'm not talking about ancient masonry. I'm not talking about the real mother-son, you know what I mean, relationship, because that's the real Temple of Solomon, the relationship between the mother and the son. That's what the real Masons really deal with.
That's right.
You can't be no real Mason if you don't have a good relationship or try to have a good relationship with your mother. You can't be a good relationship if you don't respect women. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the number one thing to be a Mason.
Right.
You dig what I mean? A maid son. Excuse me. The son of the mother. Or the son of the Moor. Whereas a freed Mason, a freed and accepted Mason was somebody that was a slave first, so wasn't even really considered human at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you claim to be that now, you are making yourself a brother to people like Albert Pike, to people like Hitler, to people like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
To these people that all agreed to keep the So if it look like a religion and it act like a religion and talk like one, it is. You dig what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Like if you go in, if they got an altar in the spot, if they got what they call the litany, if they got some sort of program, ecclesiastical, whatever, you know what I mean? Some sort of ritual, you know what I mean? You go there certain times, you know, and there's only certain prayers or hymns or whatever spoken there. That's a religion, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And that take you, pardon the interjection, that take you back to like the times with Jonah Ark, when like they try to denounce the woman, like the woman can't even be a pastor, or can't even be a bishop, or can't even.
That's right, because the Freemason is the woman. He is taking the role of the woman in the equation, so it could be a man situation.
Right.
That's what we not understanding, man. The Freemason wears the apron, which is like the kilt.
Right.
And then the woman is the one that knights him. So she's holding the phallus, he's wearing the dress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So who's really the man in the thing? It's the reverse. They flipped it up. We wasn't doing that in the Moorish Empire. We wasn't doing that.
Oh yeah, and they rock the wigs.
Yeah, and they put the wigs on, right? And the perfume, right? And the makeup, right? Right? These niggas is all in drag, man. Washington, them niggas was all drag queens.
All right.
Like, let's keep it real, man. To the point, these Africans today, these Africans are still wearing the wigs in court.
That's right. That's
today,
right.
In 2018, ain't no white man in Zambia where they gotta do that.
Right.
They want to do that.
Right.
You dig? And then they tell us that we got to descend from them. I don't descend from nobody that ain't got sense enough to wear their own hair, man.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. They even rock the blush, put the blush on and everything.
Yeah, man, they put the rouge on, right? All of that. More, that's Rome. That's all Roman stuff, man. That's why we wasn't rocking with it like that. That's the other thing, man. More need to stop subscribing to stuff that really don't apply to them.
Right. That's right.
Again, I'm not trying to disrespect nobody that's into that stuff.
Right.
But to keep it real with you, when the prophet came, the Freemasonry thing was dead. Like he deaded all that. That's why I big up to brothers like Dolo, King of the Moors. When you see him out here going what he going through, he not concealing nothing.
Right.
And what's ill with him is he ain't go through no laws to do that. So he living proof. You dig what I'm saying, Mo? That's some more right there. That's living proof that you can get all this knowledge about all of that stuff without having to put on no apron, without having to kiss no man, without having to put on no dress. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, keep it real, man. You really want it like that. Go to damn Barnes and Nobles and get Freemasonry for dummies. Like, the whole shit is in there.
Right.
It's all in there. They ain't teaching really nothing really outside of that. The real mysteries of Freemasonry is not in Freemasonry at all.
Mm. Wow.
The biggest mystery is why niggas are still following something. Why niggas are studying 35 or 50 years to be something that they were naturally born as.
Right. Right.
When you go into that thing, you tell the first thing before you even walk through the door that Tyler tell you. Why you here? Oh, well, you know, for all these years I've been in darkness and now I'm searching for light and that which was lost. So you basically saying that up until that point, everything that you have experienced in your life has been for naught, meaning that it did not exist, meaning that you basically you had no light. So that means when you came out your mother's womb, that means when you first learned to read, that means you're denying all of that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Ritualistically. Then you're taking an oath against yourself, because it said we're not supposed to swear. We don't swear no oaths.
Right.
We don't do that. We don't gotta do that. We did that for people that wasn't a part of our family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You do that for people that you don't trust. We didn't have oaths. We had creeds.
Right.
We have creeds. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
we ain't had to do none of that. We don't swear. We don't swear on nothing. We affirm it.
That's right. That's right.
To affirm means to bring into existence, to make it firm, to make it real, to make it tangible.
Right.
You understand? These niggas want you to oath yourself, swear against yourself, which is to swear against the very nature of your being.
Mm-hmm.
And then wonder why we ain't getting blessed.
Right.
Like, while black people is out here praying for stuff and doing all of this, the crackers in the laboratory trying to make it happen. Only difference is the black people, if they understood the science of their prayers, will be able to do both.
Right. That's right. Right.
But there's a science to praying. There's a science to asking for what you want. You have to be deliberate. You know what I'm saying? When the cracker go and he do a ritual, if he doing a ritual to Baphomet, that's who he doing that ritual to. If he doing a ritual to Lucifer, that's who he doing that ritual to.
Right.
He'll get you doing a ritual thinking you doing it to whoever, and really it's to Pan or whoever else, but he don't need you to know. So long as he know what the intent is and he got you to do it, regardless to what you think your intent is, he's still receiving the benefit of your energy.
Right. Now, pardon the interjection, while we on the esoteric agenda of everything, can you go in about the Aleister Crowley, who he stole his rituals from?
Yes, indeed. Blessed today. Well, not Blessed Crowley. Blessed today is Pascal Beverly Randolph. Blessed the dead. He would have been 193 years old today. Pascal Beverly Randolph, for those people that don't know, he was the son of Edmund Randolph Bay, who was one of the signers of the Continental Congress. His mother was a princess from Madagascar, Moorish princess from Madagascar. And he grew up in what's called the 5 Point section, what we saw in that movie Gangs of New York. In New York, he also basically after his father died and the coup d'etat happened with the Civil War and all that, was leading up to the Civil War and all that, he was into what they call at the time mesmerism, and which was a heavy, deep spirituality, and basically pursued the essence to the point that he became the Lord of all the Rosicrucians in the world.
Wow.
He was made crown king at the Dome at Paris, and all the dignitaries in the world came, verified him. He also was a founder of the Freedmen's Bureau. He used to write, help Lincoln get his speeches and all of that together. He also was the biggest supporter of hashish in the United States at the time, the only one at the time. What else? He used to carry on seances and shit at the White House.
Wow.
He was a surgeon, taught medicine. He created a element called phosgene. He used to create the magic black mirrors out of the volcanic obsidian. We could channel ancestors and all that. Like, this dude was like everything that we understand about modern occultism, modern spiritualism, modern what they call Freemasonry. All this came from this dude.
Okay, cool.
To the point that his direct enemy, was a chick named Helena Blavatsky.
Wow.
And Blavatsky, they could not do what they was doing while he was alive, so they all plotted on his death and got a Rosicrucian by the name of Clymer Davis, I believe his name was, basically to assassinate him. And then after that was done, they established what they called the Theosophic Society based on most of his writings. He did a lot of great writings, one called Ravenet, which is real good. The Rights of Euless, Death and the Disembodiment of Man. This is the guy they based Doctor Strange on.
Oh, wow.
Doctor Strange is based on this dude. Matter of fact, Doctor Strange's house, the Sanctum Sanctorum, that's what Randolph used to call his crib.
Really?
He used to live in a village in the same place. Yeah, all that's based on Randolph.
Wow.
Just like Martin Luther King was Professor X and Magneto was Malcolm X. Martin Luther King was Professor X and Malcolm X was Magneto. All of that stuff is based on more science.
Right.
So Randolph was the head. So after they assassinated him, Blavatsky, who was also the nursemaid to Hitler, had a lesbian lover named Annie Besant. and they worked together because through the Theosophic Society, they wanted to create their own Christ.
Wow.
So they went through a process in India through Mother Teresa, because Mother Teresa was a deep witch. She was a part of the sex trafficking shit they was doing in Calcutta and all of that back in the day. So Mother Teresa, along with Gandhi, who was another pederast, he was in love with his sister, and he hated black people. For those people that don't know, he also was a British barrister. This is Gandhi.
Really?
Yeah, this is Gandhi. He hated black people. He used to sleep in the bed with his little sister to test himself to not molest her. Little girl, excuse me, to not molest them, which means he was a pedophile. He also, again, hated black people, hated women, but didn't like women, loved white people, and was knighted by the crown, the British crown, which is why he was able to help reinforce the caste. That's why when he came to power, he stopped the caste system over there.
Wow.
Because he ain't like dark skinned people no way. That's in their religion. So him being a British agent, MI5 agent, was an agent the same way Aleister Crowley was an agent of British intelligence.
Right.
And they used, so Blavatsky hooks up with Basant, and they hook up with another dude after Randolph was killed in America to get his information. They set off the Theosophic Society. They try to get whatever other knowledge they could get from the Moors on the low. And then through the Theosophic Society, they want to create their own Christ. Right. So through the ritual processes, they wind up getting this little boy, and they wind up calling him the Krishna. And then little Krishna started being raised, and they started taking him all over the world to all the Illuminati sites and all the different places, really getting him ready. So he was going to be the Christ that they was going to usher in their new thing through. Mm-hmm. But being that he again studied what Randolph did on the low, and he was still melanated, Asiatic. Once they got to the day that they was going to crown him and do all of that, he renounced everything and went back to the ghetto.
Wow.
He renounced everything and then decided to go back to the ghetto. What's up, King?
Wow.
And then from there created a following, and then everybody started messing with him. So eventually he became known as Krishnamurti. And Krishnamurti was real big in the transcendental system. So by the time that we go from the 40s, the 50s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, by the 70s now, everybody's going to Krishnamurti to study, namely the Beatles.
Right.
So I'm saying that's why we look on the cover of Sgt. Pepper Lonely Heart Band. You see Aleister Crowley on there, and you see Krishnamurti on there. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And you see like a lot of, because they was all trying to get into that aspect of it, but all of that was really based on Randolph. So Crowley was used by MS5 to go into the Freemasonic orders and the magical orders in Britain at the time and turn them all into communists. And basically inform on all of them and basically get them into blackmail.
Wow.
And so that's when the homosexual rituals and all that stuff had to start coming into the play, into the Freemason thing, because they formally bonded it all with Lucifer through Albert Pike. Because Albert Pike was a student or was under Blavatsky as well.
Right.
And the rest of these dudes. So they all worship Lucifer. They all was homosexuals. They all was pedophiles. They all was all that. Because in the end, they was all Jesuits.
Right.
So we really want to lay this to the foot of somebody. We should really lay this all at the foot of people like Ignatius Loyola, who was the first founder, first Jesuit general of the Society of Jesus, that was founded to not only pursue the Moors, but to utterly decimate them.
Wow.
So Aleister Crowley wound up in a sex ritual with a lady named Lady Harris, who was married to the head of McCall magazine. Remember our mothers back in the days in the 80s, came in the 80s, they all read McCall and Spiegel, you know what I'm saying, them type of catalogs.
Right. I recall that.
It's long. So, Lady Harris, though, she was a heavy Satanist, Easter Star witch. So when she was staying in London, she bounced on her husband, went to London, and went to one of the coven situations, and then that's when she met Crowley. Crowley was telling her, look, I want to create a new tarot deck. And then she was like, well, because you a painter, because she also painted. He says, well, you can't help me make the deck and paint the deck or whatever, and walk it up. So she stayed there for the whole time, going to the sex orgies, the bestiality, the donkey shows, all the stuff they do, and then made all of these paintings from the tarot at that time.
Right.
So after she finished, she go back to America, and that's when she pregnant. She have a baby, that baby named Barbara, but that baby is not her husband's baby. That's Crowley's baby.
Right.
But her husband and Crowley is in the same order, you understand? So it was all good because they got her pregnant in the same sex ritual, the same way they were trying to do with Murdy. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So the whole thing goes down. They make it happen. They have this baby, Barbara. Barbara Harris winds up marrying George Herbert Walker Bush, and then that's when she becomes Barbara Bush. And then they have Georgie, and then Georgie now is Crowley's direct grandson.
Wow. That's deep, bro. That's deep, Mar.
You understand? So every president from Johnson has served George Bush, because George Bush was the head demon that was running the CIA from the time he helped them kill Kennedy.
Right, now I hear about that. I heard he had something to do with Kennedy's murder.
Yeah, there's a picture of him out front of the depository building.
Wow.
The day right after the shit popped, he right there. You understand? Because Jack Ruby worked for Sam Giancana. Jack Ruby was already dying of cancer. Jack Ruby was the one that hooked them up with Oswald in the beginning. So when it went down, when the hit was going to go down, they needed the fall guy. So once Oswald lived, you see, they said, well, we're going to have to send somebody in there. So because Ruby messed up the initial joint, they just sent him in on some kamikaze just to get rid of him.
Right.
But Bush was basically, they say it was Sam Giancana, George Bush, and, Alan Dulles, the Dulles brothers.
Right.
And what you call it in them? And what's his name in the Vatican? Because remember, he was a Catholic.
Right, that's
Kennedy.
right. Yep, that's right.
So that was very hard. That was like having basically a direct subject of the Pope as president.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want it that direct like that. And remember, Jackie Onassis' father, El LaSalle, was the descendant of the Moor that discovered Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah, Jackie Onassis, Jackie O. Kennedy, her father's name was Van Zoon. It was Van Zoon or Van Saval, something like that. And when you trace her lineage back, you go back to the Moor, John de Saval, John du Saval, that discovered or founded Chicago.
Wow.
So she's a direct black woman. So that's why when they brought Cleopatra's Needle over here, right, from Egypt back in the days, they brought it. The two obelisks, they used to sit in front of the main temple of the sun in Kemet, in Hikbatah, which we call Egypt, which they call Kemet.
Right.
One of them is in London. The other one is in Central Park, right by the museum. And the way that it's situated, there's the pyramid, Cleopatra's Needle, then there's a lake, then there's the Temple of Dendara on the inside of it. So when they brought the pyramid over here and was about to do the ceremony to bring it up, they sent Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, right, the black woman who looked white, who's acting as Cleopatra now, right? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
To basically be the one that is who is there for the dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Once they set it up or whatever, boom. So this is why she's in the position she is in, why she was so revered by them.
Right.
So yeah, so it's always ritual with these people. It's always something, because the religion that they in, what we today call Freemasonry, we looking at it as one thing, but we're not seeing what it really is.
Right.
It is the culmination of the Babylonian mystery systems that was linked together from the time that Israel was in captivity. and then after Israel left, and then the Ptolemaic dynasties were set up in Egypt, you had the cross-pollination of the ancient Egyptian culture, the ancient Babylonian culture, the ancient Macedonian culture, the ancient Persian cultures, all culminating together.
Right.
And then once that culminated together, that was the seed of what we call the Western philosophies, because then those peoples, once they coalesced and then eventually dispersed, a lot of them went up into Europe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then those ones that went up into Europe, like it says the story, after Jerusalem fell or whatever, there was a lot of Moors, a lot of Hebrews that went up into Europe. Same thing with Egypt when it went through the Battle of the Sea Kings. It said one of the daughters of the Pharaoh, Scotia, wound up going into what we call Scotland.
Right.
As well as Ireland, and that's where she met the king, I believe. His name started with a G. Gargamel or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or Galadriel, something with a G. Anyway, they got married. And then the line of Egypt, you see what I'm saying, of the Moors of Egypt was now here in Scotland. And then that's when her king got together. And then that's when they established what became the Gaelic language. Mm-hmm. And then the Gaelic language eventually trickled down into the other cultures and stuff that came from that. The Celts, the Pictish, the Britons, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
All of these being Moors.
Right.
You get the book Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1 and 2, Fairies and all of that, written by the same dude, David Mayvici, also African Presence in Early Europe.
Mm-hmm. Good. Those are good.
Get more on that.
Yeah, those are good. Definitely good ones.
Yeah. So,
Now I know I wanna I guess go out on a little limb here, because I've been hearing a lot lately about this this blue beam. I don't know if you know, but I know you do know about the blue beam project.
Oh, the blue beam project, yeah.
Yeah. So what say you about these extraterrestrials and aliens and the blue beam projects and all that? What say you?
I believe, or I feel that everything that this be say is either a lie, half lie, or a mere truth.
Right.
So if he's saying alien, then he's saying something that he don't understand, because he's never seen it, and the only alien on Earth is him.
Right.
So if people are talking to me about reptilians or this or that, and they believe that these things exist, I think that if they believe they exist, then they can exist. But whether they do exist or not, to me, in my opinion, is really irrelevant, because we can only go by what we have known or what we've experienced, because man knows not from being told.
Exactly.
So they can tell me that there was an alien crash in Roswell and all that, and they could tell me that people shapeshift into reptilian beings and all of that. They could tell me, that the sun is so hot that it burns up everything, but I've seen planets pass in front of it and not burn up at all. So, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think a lot of it, the term alien is just another word they're using to describe what they can't control or what they don't want to tell you about yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think the term unidentified, flying object, hey Queen, how are you? Basically represents elements of things that haven't fully incarnated or are at such a higher level that we haven't raised our vibration to slow them down and see what they really are.
Right.
So I think the most of it with the blue beam stuff is using the pre-programmed condition through movies like Independence Day, Islam, movies like Independence Day, Star Wars, this, that. Think about it. Every idea or situation that we've ever seen concerning space was given to us based on a movie,
right,
a book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Nothing that we actually went out and see. Meanwhile, we close our eyes and go into space every night.
That's right.
So, I think we're always looking at the opposite, or we're always going to the other side of things.
Okay.
Instead of looking at what they directly want you to know that your people did it, I'm gonna say aliens built it. Sorry.
Right. I'm
gonna say aliens did it. Then I'm gonna show you movies like Star Wars and shit, so you can understand what an alien is.
Right.
So this way now, when you see these big giant black people or whatever, but meanwhile, the crackers, all they doing is talking about the giant black beings they seeing when they opening up these portals and all of that.
Right. And I want to also get on that, but I'm gonna say that for another show about the Hydra Collider.
The Hadrian Super Collider.
Right, that's right. And we definitely got to come back for a part 2 on that. But I want to give one more question. But I definitely want to get back on the part 2 to get back to that the Atom Smasher. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the last question I do want to give to you before you go, because I know it's kind of running into lateness, but we've been hearing a lot about this flat Earth.
Oh yeah.
So I just want to get your take on that, because I know what I see when I go to North Beach. My family have a house in North Beach where the Nanticoats are, you know, and Chesapeake Bay, wherever. So, and I see that it is a straight flat line out there, but I just want to get your take on that.
Yeah, right. Playing with his mouth. It's funny, man. That's like a slippery slope, man. Because you know, when I was reading about the flat Earth stuff back in the days, you know, when you read about we more. So
right.
I'm reading about Spain and you know what we used to do, and you know what I'm saying, how we used to control and tell people stuff. So I always felt like that was something we just told people that wasn't directly with the empire to keep them in check.
Okay.
Like a long time ago, like I wrote a book called The Gospel 418, and there's a section in it where this guy is from the CIA is talking to this other dude, and he told him about this rumor he heard that dinosaurs didn't exist, that they was actually created. There was a myth created by the CIA to discourage people from time travel.
Okay.
Right? And now I put that in the book on some funny, but that's a real thing I heard.
Right.
Well, I was reading an article of William Cooper, and he was talking about that at one point.
Right.
But in terms of what we understand as a flat Earth, you know, I don't really. I put it like this: every time I've been in a plane, I ain't never seen no curvature.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Every picture that I've seen, you know, of the Earth or whatever, I've seen curvature.
Right.
So, in my opinion, or what I've always felt, that's why I never really got into any of that stuff. But what I've always felt was that this is an actual plane. It's a flat plane. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it doesn't have an up down. See it tomorrow, mommy. It doesn't have a up down side. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Yeah, left, right. It's not like that. It expands. I believe that this place that we in alters and changes itself based upon our level of consciousness. So right now, the level of consciousness of people that they've been in since 1492, they believe that the world is round.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But there was another aspect of consciousness at one point where they thought it was flat. When you look at the Dendara calendar and certain other things, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Switch that.
Right. Right. And I definitely agree with you on that, because again, like I say, I never been in a plane, bro, and I can tell you that now. I never been in a plane, but again, I can take you to where my people stay in Chesapeake Bay, North Beach.
Yep.
And I can look right on the plane, and it's just flat surface. The water is flat, and water always find its level. So, and
that's my point. My point is, regardless to who or what, whether it's flat, round, whatever, circular, spherical, square, triangle, whatever it is, it don't matter. All I know is we the original people of it.
That's the ancestor. That's the ancestor, more.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah,
tell him peace, more. I heard him, peace, more.
Islam. He said peace. Say Islam, more.
And my daughter sitting right here looking at him and listening to him too.
Yeah, like regardless to what type of earth or whatever shape or whatever it is, what I do know is that we're the original people on it.
Exactly.
So that's what's most important to me. Whether niggas is, there's never going to be a point that you're going to fall off of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's never going to be a point, try to stand over here where it's not wet. There's never going to be a point where you fall off of it. There's never going to be a point where you stop. Oh, turn around, man. Let's see it more. There's never going to be a point where we're not going to be from it.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So as opposed to me getting into a debate or trying to act like because this person believes that the world is flat that somehow they're crazy, or because this person believes that the world is round that somehow or another they're under some sort of mass delusions or whatever delusion is really irrelevant to me. Those things like that are not really my focus. My focus is more on what is your perception of the space that you're in, because that's going to dictate how you see the world around you.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you are coming from a unilateral position, put some lotion on yourself. If you're coming from a position where you believe that you are alone, you're isolated, you know what I mean? You're the type of person that's somewhat xenophobic, then a flat earth is going to be more appealing to you.
Right.
You understand? Because psychologically, you're looking at it from a perspective that there's actually a way off of this place.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Because it's flat. So So it get to a point where maybe if I reach the edge of it, I could literally jump off and be out and somewhere else. Right. Whereas those people who feel more secure or may have more of a unilateral vision of themselves or reality may be more subscribed to a round earth. You understand?
Right.
Because in a round earth now, things are more contained.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
Things are more structured. Things are going in a certain rotation.
Right.
You see?
Right.
Momentum, very good, Amor. Momentum that allows people to believe that, you know, the sun is always going to rise, the moon is always, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like things is always or even killed.
Right.
But then you have people, like I said, like me, that's almost indifferent to whatever stance that it's in.
Right.
Because in the end, what's most important to me is not so much the shape of it, but the substance within it. Right. So somebody like me is like, okay, so how does the flat earth explain the inner earth? Right. Akartha and all of that. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. And then if that's the case, then how do those both jive with the globe in the idea that one philosophy says there's an old, what was it called? What was the name of this guy? When you read the Necronomicon, and you read about, what was the guy's name in the book? Ahazarek, right? Who was allegedly, they called the Mad Arab, and he was dealing with Cthulhu. Cthulhu representing the sleeping giant and all of this extra energy. Right. Anyway, when you deal with that, they were dealing with the concept that the earth, space, and all of these things are all really just figments, dreams, right. A part of a mass dream that's being had by this ancient being. Okay. And that once this being that they refer to as Cthulhu, right? Mm-hmm. Once this being, in a sense, reawakens, then all of the aspects of it cease to exist in anyway. Mm-hmm. So really, that's like when Philip K. Dick said that basically all of humanity is functioning right now in Act 6. That there was some sort of time spell put on the world. What we think is the progress and was the future is actually just a mass delusion. All right. So again, all of these things, when you really get down to it, how are those things helping us in our particular plight right now? Mm-hmm. And that's why I be with it. All right. Is the things that we're learning bringing us together or bringing us apart? Right. So if there's more of this information is bringing us apart, then that means then it was never meant to bring us together. That means that everybody is still in a secretarian ego tip and are functioning from the position that their aspect of knowledge is better. Right. So their worldview, of course, then must be better. Therefore, we're still dealing with what? Hierarchy, Western civilization, right?
Right.
Caste systems. Tomorrow, Coach. Thank you, man. Caste systems, hierarchy, and this is what I'm saying.
Right.
Whether it's a flat or fake or whatever, I think that it's round on a flat plane.
Right.
Or it may be flat on a round plane. I don't know. I don't care. I don't even care.
Right.
I don't even care, because guess what? Allah's God in all of it.
Exactly.
In all of it, Allah is supreme, and Allah is the arm and leg on head. I self-form master, the supreme highest aspect of self.
Islam to that. Islam to that, man.
Blue, green, purple, whatever. Ask Kal-El. Ask the Kryptonians. They know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's us. I don't give a damn what type of extraterrestrial it is. Whatever.
That's right.
If they come here and it say something, and I say Assalamu alaikum, it's gonna know exactly what I'm talking about.
There you go.
And I say Islam, or you know what I mean? They see it's feathered, it's turban, they're gonna know exactly what it is. I tell them my name is Il, you know exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Exactly what it is.
Right.
So,
and I'm gonna put that to bed with my outlook on it all. Like I say, if you're right, you got a point there. If it's bringing us together, then it can be used. But if it's not bringing us together, then I don't think I can use it. You know. And
nope.
I just want to throw a name.
I don't even want to build on it.
Right. And I just want to throw a name out there that would found to be interesting, because when I saw his name, it just interested me because it was around the same time, just after the Prophet had, made his transition in 1933. Augustus Picard. And I think he was the guy that had a balloon expedition and went up and saw like 10 miles and saw that it was he said it seemed to be a flat surface with an upturned disc.
Yep.
So,
and that's what I'm saying. And when I looked at it, when I look at it like that, I've noticed that for years. Before this was like the buzz topic.
Right.
These was things that, I was doing the research to, because you can't be into researching mysteries and stuff like that, and this type of stuff don't come up.
Right.
It's just about how far you're going to explore to the point to make it real for yourself.
Right.
And there's a lot of brothers that put in a lot of deep discussion, deep work, deep research on this thing, where they basically, at least to themselves, proved inconclusively that it's flat.
Right.
And I applaud that. Just like I know there's a lot of brothers who put stuff out there or whatever to support the global model.
Right.
But me, I'm looking at it as the fact that all of this, whether it's flat or round, all of it is still one big slave colony that everybody is trying to act like they the foreman of. And I'm tired of it. I don't give a damn how you want to say what. I put it like this. If I know the parameters of each version, that means whatever version turned out to be true, I'm going to be cool in it. Because I haven't subscribed to either one.
That's right.
How about it's cool sometimes just to be indifferent about a subject.
That's right.
We don't have to have a direct, definitive view on it. I could, you know what? That's cool. Like when they had that flat Earth conference or whatever they were. Like Moors was going. Some Moors went out there to that. It was like, yo, Moor, we gonna go and represent. Like you can do that. Right. I'm not adverse to anybody doing anything that's gonna bring us together.
Right.
Because in the end, I want my son to grow up in a world where at least he had knowledge of himself, of who and what he is, what he can do and contribute based upon who his ancestors and his people always been.
Islam.
As opposed to having to figure it out by talking to somebody who think they black, who think they Spanish, who think that they, United States citizens, citizens of the United States, who think that they're everything other than what they really are.
Islam to that.
That's what I think, Mo. I think in the end, these things are just there to bring more and more people against each other.
Right.
Because all these dudes, all I see is dudes using that as a means to bang on other dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like I watched some dude send me a link of some cat. I don't know who this guy is. These guys just coming out of nowhere. And this guy, he obviously got an issue with Moors. And I don't really know how these niggas have all these issues with Moors, and Moors ain't ever do nothing to them.
Right.
But because they want to be Indian, you see, because they want to be African, and because they want to be all this other stuff, they gotta hate on us.
Right.
You right. Not everybody was in the Moorish Empire. You right, but everybody was paying tribute.
That's right.
At one point.
That's right.
Say what you want, but again, regardless, they created a space by which they can't control how they're perceived.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are again with all these different people putting out all this different information, but in the very end, all y'all doing is looking mad.
Right.
All you are is looking like you ready to bang on this dude based on what book you don't like he read, or what he said about this doctrine, or whatever. Like, come on, man.
Childish.
Women is tired. The women is tired of hearing that.
Right.
The women is tired of seeing dudes bicker over bullshit like they do. They don't want that.
That's right. That's right.
So they say, you know what? While y'all niggas is working on this, I'm gonna just be here with this cracker. I'm gonna run his society until y'all figure out how y'all want y'all society to be.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Right now, they got a whole town in Georgia that is nothing but black women running the judiciary.
Wow.
Nice. Try to do it twice.
Wow.
The whole town. So that means, what are they doing? They processing. Excellent, I want it. They processing dudes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's cool. But in the end, they still locking their own people up.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So great. So you can't get a man, but you'll lock one up. Okay. Just like the sister that was running the whole thing that happened with the dude when she walked into his apartment and just shot him.
Right, the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, then what happened with that sister? Then she come out and say, oh, well, I can't fire him because it's this, and that. Then the next day, the white man threw her under the bus. Said, yes, you can.
Right.
And then the white man can't fire her. Look at that.
That's right.
Set her up to be the coonish Negro, the traitor to her people, looking like a liar now. Right?
Right, and I want to come back too also about that Collider, that Atom Smasher, and I want to talk about that Botham shooting in Texas too, also on the next show, bro. I definitely want to get into
Boston
that.
Shooting. Which one you talking about?
The Botham. That his name was Botham John or Botham Jean.
Oh yeah, Botham. Right.
Yeah.
The brother the brother she killed. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into that topic on the next show. So.
Oh yeah, man.
That's a definite. I know we down to about 2 minutes. You want to give any shout outs and any accolades and before you get on out of here?
Well, again, thanks to all the people who supported me over the years. Thanks to those people who again have supported supported, the Queen. Anybody definitely needs stuff for beauty products or whatever. Right? You can go to www.cordobaorganics.com. You got stuff on there that helps with eczema and dry patches and all that type of stuff. Like really, really good healing stuff that's going all the way back to recipes she learned from her peoples from Panama and what they now call Spain.
Okay.
Also, you can, if anybody wants to hit me up. Okay. If anybody wants to hit me up about their individual process in terms of declaration of nationality or setting up a stage trust, things like that, hit me up at houseofbell@hotmail.com, most flows, consultations or whatever. Also, I'm right here for you. You want me to hold your bag? Alright.
Hold on 1 second more. Hold on 1 second, all right? Peace, 1 second.
Okay. Islam.
Peace more. Now we're back, and part about that. You can go ahead and do your finish up.
So good. Again, man, thank you for having me on. Everybody wants to holler at me, hit me up at houseofbell@hotmail.com, whether it be for consultations or, your individual process or whatever in terms of establishing estates, trust, proper definitive declaration, things like that. Also, I do speaking engagements, so if you ever want to holler at me about that, you can do so again at houseofbell@hotmail.com. You can check out my website for some of my other material, you can go to www.aseerthedukeoftears.com. And you could also check out, you could also check me out if you go to www.gumroad.com and type in Aseer the Duke of Tears in the chat room in the search engine. My classes and stuff like that will come up, so that'll be cool. And like I said, man, want to give respect. Yesterday was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Peace be upon him, his birthday. So definitely want to say peace to him. Today, again, is the illustrious Pascal Beverly Randolph, another blessed ancestor, who, again, most of our people, you never notice the people that he's supposed to tell us about Black history, we never hear about.
Right.
But he's definitely is one of them. Always respect to the prophet, because the people does not respect or acknowledge their prophet is doomed. So definitely want to acknowledge the prophet Noble Ali.
Islam.
No. Also, I want to give respect and thanks to my queen for holding me down, as well as holding more down. It's been very, very, great, but at the same time isolating, because, whenever you're doing real work, it can only attract real people. So when you're doing that and trying to raise a family, it can be a lot. So I definitely want to give respect for her putting up with me all these years, holding them down and holding me down, as well as all of our people in terms of men, women. We are both equally to blame because we equally messed up. So the only way we can get out of it is working together through equality. Because again, the elder told me a while ago, USA don't mean United States of America, it means unity, salvation in Asia.
Islam.
So when they say that we citizens of the United States or the USA, this is what it means. That's what it means to us. Right. That's why we're nationals of it.
That's right.
So we hopefully want to continue to practice that and preserve the empire as best we can.
Islam.
Again, my brother, thank you for having me on. Again, long live the Moorish Empire. Long live to everybody, whether they consider themselves Moors or not. You know what I'm saying? Just because I happen to be Moorish don't mean that I don't have love for my so-called Hebrew brothers, my so-called Ashanti brothers, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And whatever other culture that they want to acknowledge.
Right.
I'm just saying, don't hate on mine.
Right. Islam.
You know what I'm saying?
Islam.
That's all. I'm really to rock and I'm really to work with anybody that's willing to work. But again, man, let's not fool ourselves.
Right.
Freemasonry is, in my opinion, the thing that's holding up and keeping a lot of things in play. Not even for the good. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when the prophet came, he came to reveal all the secrets. That's why all the secrets been coming out ever since.
Exactly.
So, being that we are the keepers of that and the fulfillers of that, we can't put ourselves back in the closet by marking up the fez and putting on something that basically says that we are ashamed of our manhood. Because that's why we gave them the apron. We gave them the apron because to conceal their nakedness, because they weren't even considered real men.
That's right.
Based upon the abject aspect of their phallus. So why would I go and put one on for myself?
Islam to that.
Inshallah.
And I just want to.
It's in your bag, man.
I want to thank you for coming again more, and I'm looking again to the second show, third and fourth and fifth show, having you on, and I want to give honors to you more because you have a lot of energy and a lot of knowledge that a lot of people need to delve into, and I'm with anybody that's going to move our people forward to having more things than what we have now. I do give honor to other people, but we all are more. So at the end of the day, love is our first principle, and that's what I exercise. So thank you again, more, and I will be looking forward to the next part 2 of this show coming real shortly, more.
Inshallah, we will, bro. I love and light to you, and definitely, man, send me the link when it's ready.
Peace, love, and light. Peace, love, and light. I sure will, more soon, ASAP.
Islam.
Our good brother, your good brother, Aseer, the Duke of Tears.
Peace, more.
Peace, more.
Islam.
Islam, family.
Jesus.
Peace. That was our good brother, your good brother, Islam to that more. Aseer, the Duke of Tears. And like I said, it's been a long time coming, and I want to thank y'all for joining me again on another part of Pardon the Interjection. I'm your host, Supreme L, and we'll be looking at another part 2 coming real soon. So, with that being said, don't believe me, Moors. Go. Check it out. And you'll be amazed at the jewels you'll find on your treasure hunt. It's been another episode of Pardon the Interjection. Again, I'm your host, Supreme L. Stay safe, family. Islam, love, and peace forevermore.
Sounds like it's having a hallucinogenic effect. Not like a drug, which is harmful and wrong, and just say no, kids. But spacey nonetheless.
Have you ever heard or thought that you saw, or felt the pain from third eye to your jaw? Felt schizo, brain circuit strip so. Got me seeing strobe lights like a disco. Under skin crawls, seeing one's take shapes out of the norm. Demonic forms takes, forces external, stress is extreme. Eyes wide open, though it's a dream. It seems sorta like alienation, surrounded by aliens at a PlayStation. Nerd impulses, feeling pulses on noses, suffering from tripped out psychosis. Doses, seeing clouds drip like ET, sun rays touch fingertips, reflect kiss off your cheek like lips, repeating like skips, peeling the air in strips, pattern swirl, walls seem to breathe, mixed up senses that I can't perceive. All I see is sounds, I'm hearing what smells, I'm craving hallucinations like hell. Enter the realm where there's talking gazelles, speaking metaphysic, I'm feeling depressed. Fez wearing horn, Nor puts his hand on my chest and says, was have a piece of a shroom. My mind going zoom as I spin with this room. Forks one with spoons, knives guilty for murders they committed. Should I be committed to a mental ward? Straight jacket fitted. Frog walks out the wall talking ribbit. I'm overstanding every word said in my head. Then here comes death, smelling like dead, telling me to follow him flying on fog. On his death log he checks off guard. Looking into his hood, darkness all I see, and darkness is all around me. Light asks me to take a west sound beat, then introduced me to speed of thought, and she told me by being told man knows naught. Carrying on, swinging like Barry Bonds. The flower bouquet from whence he married yawns. Rapper's floss was a corpse. Power and force, divorced of course. Power is an illusion, took the bigger loss. My last 4 blinks felt like ice rinks. Came to my senses looking down sinks. After that I didn't know what to think, so I just put the rest of shrooms into my drink. Breathe in, the trip is a dream. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe out. Trip is a trip.